Advanced placement scores, Mrs. Bonus.
Nothing at this time.
Nothing?
Yep.
Okay. High school program studies scheduled now and in the future. Mr. Lindbergh and Mr. Mazzanati, I believe.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry. Only results school. Gold school. This beats all.
You're really going backwards.
Okay.
I really, I know. I'm thinking this the whole time. I'm like, okay, so we're moving technology. But you know what, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good. And honestly, it's for me, it's a way I think when I have to kind of think about big ideas. So getting things on big paper with markers and stuff actually helps me. So I want to give a really brief overview. It's kind of a preview for what I'm going to bring forward next month. And Mr. Pepin and Mr. Reed will also be here next month. But really, I've spent quite a bit of time in recent weeks reflecting on various things that have come our way, obviously through NEASC and through other feedback that we've gotten about our high school and kind of where we see our strengths and needs. And the key is that I really want to think of a vision and establish something, and then seek input from various people, including obviously you all and other stakeholders within the town. So I'm just going to present like a really brief three-part overview of what's coming in December. I'm going to start with kind of what we see as our current state of being at the high school, and I just have it in terms of strengths and needs. So we have obviously some wonderful strengths at the high school. Our student achievement has been tremendous and growing. Being a commended high school for the last 2 years particularly. I feel like our school culture is second to none. I really feel confidently saying that. We have a wonderful culture, supportive. We have a rigorous learning environment. Kids are here to learn, teachers are here to teach. It's something where people expect to be challenged, and students are challenged, and they're prepared when they leave. We have a highly professional staff, and I'm really proud of the work that they do every single day, that they take their jobs really seriously, that they are, really, really good at what they do. We have supportive families in town who send the kids ready to learn every single day and support what we do, support education. And that's really, you can't substitute for that. And finally, of course, we have great students who just are great kids overall. I would put them up against anybody's. And I've been around different places, and I know how our kids are. They're second to none. That made me think of our needs. It's important that we look at this. So what I see as a need is that our current schedule is quite restrictive. I'm going to give you an example of this. So our music program, which is the best in the state of Rhode Island, and I think one of the best, if not the best in the New England region. It's a tremendous program. I would never, ever come up here in support of anything that was going to cut into that program because it's a showcase program. Our kids are extremely benefit from it. Our community benefits from it. However, in a small high school of our size, with 540 kids, when you have 60%, or actually over 60% of the student body participating in music, and when you have a school with a schedule like ours, where you have a 7-period traditional high school schedule, what that music program and the popularity or the success of it has done really is it has weakened the other elective areas. So when you have students who maybe are not so music focused and maybe want to pursue different elective areas, we've just had, and we've spoken about this, just a whittling away of those options for kids in recent years. And that we've seen that really through cuts to tech ed, through cuts to family consumer science, through cuts to business, through cuts to other even elective classes within the core areas. It's been really a slow erosion. And again, I don't want this to come off as music's to blame, because music is not to blame. It's just a reality with that program being as phenomenal as it is, that with the current schedule we have, it does create, if you will, a burden on the other areas.
With their willingness to take the number of kids that they take.
Thank you. I appreciate adding that. It's also a program that takes on an incredible number of kids. I mean, there's 60 kids in one of the sections of course. I mean, last I checked, our contract caps it at 28. They have 60 kids in the section. it saves this town an incredible amount of money to do it the way we do it. And it's because our teachers are so phenomenal. I mean, not just the high school, but throughout the district. They're so passionate about what they do, and they have such an incredible program that it really does come through, as you've all seen in the performances we have, and the way the kids are unbelievable at what they do. But it does, I am concerned that eventually it's going to come to a point where it's almost like, well, all we do is music. That these other areas are becoming so strained. That's a concern to me. Similar to that is career-based education. Needs do exist, both in terms of curriculum and program offerings. This is something that we were cited on for NEAS, and that's the idea of, again, preparing kids, especially those who aren't necessarily your traditional four-year college-bound students. Kids who might have more of a focus on maybe a trade school or a career-based program, or a two-year college, or something along those lines, or just transitioning into the world of work, or some kind of a certification. Right now, we have a deficiency in this area. It's something that we have a lot of needs in terms of exposing kids to some options in that area. Now, some of those needs are schedule-based, some of them are really curriculum-based, where we can work with, for instance, our guidance staff on being more supportive and being more, I shouldn't say supportive, but more proactive, I guess, with students who kind of are along that path. We also look at math and science. I know we just talked about math textbook, but we have needs for math and science. It's per our district strategic plan. That's really our curricular focus. It's been our curricular focus under Claire's leadership. We're still going through the science changes. I think that science is a real need, especially the high levels of science. One thing I'm very concerned about is the fact that we have our top performing kids, who I would hold up against any top performing kids anywhere, but they are disadvantaged, particularly in the area of science, because we don't offer, besides AP Physics, we don't offer a traditional lab science at the AP level. And that's something that we have been able in some areas to supplement AP courses with virtual courses, but that doesn't work for AP Bio and AP Chemistry, which are lab-based sciences. You cannot recreate that experience on a virtual class. So I am concerned that we don't run those classes. I think, again, there's a way we can do that, and I think we should be doing that, but we have a need there. I'm also going to mention the idea of common planning time for teachers, which again was cited by NEAS and in the high school regulations. At the high school level, a modern, responsive high school gives time for faculty to sit and talk about important educational things. Looking at our assessments, looking at our proficiency tests, looking at our final exams, looking at student work, and examining the rigor that we're asking our students to demonstrate with the work we're assigning them. Time needs to be made for this, and frankly, without the time, we fall further and further behind. It becomes more and more difficult to do things collaboratively, and it becomes more like an older version of high school where students are where teachers are just kind of in their classrooms, isolated and not collaborating. So that's where, again, we are currently. I don't want to paint a dreary picture, because again, I'm very proud of the work we've done, but we do have needs, and these are some of the things that, again, I've been reflecting on what we've done. So where's our focus? Where's our vision that we're coming for? Well, again, in my process of going through this and various people I speak with throughout the school, we want to expand our opportunities for students. Things such as AP courses, SAT prep courses to get kids, again, ready for the next level. And also career-focused programs for kids who are more career-directed. Substantial time for teachers to meaningfully collaborate. Effective and consistent supports for struggling learners. Using data to identify struggling learners and then providing supports within the school day to get them the assistance they need in various curricular areas. Provide teachers with appropriate resources and supports in incorporating technology into instruction. We'll talk about that as being a huge need at the high school, and getting our 21st century learners to use technology in the process. A learning environment that's conducive to students making informed decisions about their future that's based on their academic and personal strengths and interests. That's something that, again, I believe very strongly in as far as a high school that empowers kids to make decisions for themselves. I think we have some incredibly mature and thoughtful students who take the time to really think about, okay, I'm going to research where to go to college, or where to apply, or what to study, or what the fields are, and things like that. we have very thoughtful students who do this on their own. I feel like as a school, we do need to be doing more to make this something that's a common practice for everybody. That students are thinking about what is their particular interest area, area of strength, and what could that pathway yield for them, as far as maybe a career or a further area of study. So we want to look at that. We definitely want to look at that as again, sort of encouraging students to think of those things. So finally, our process that we're following here. So we're engaged currently in a process to review our current schedule and propose a change that will help us fulfill our vision for our high school. This process is ongoing, and we will be seeking input from families and from students as part of our work. One thing that's really important, I want to emphasize this, is that whatever we come up with, or whatever we propose as being something that we want to bring forward in front of the committee, I'm not interested in just grabbing some cookie cutter thing I hear from somebody else and saying we want to do that. It needs to work for North Smithfield. It needs to work for our students in our school. We have a unique school. We have a unique culture. And it's important that it fits what we want to do. It's important, too, that I get input from students and hear from them, hear from families. Because I certainly don't want to make any decision or bring anything in front of anybody before I have as much information that I have about what may work or maybe bring things to my attention that I couldn't see as far as a consequence. So basically, I'll be presenting a specific plan for the December meeting, but I just wanted to let you know that we're in this process right now. We're gathering some interesting information. We're reflecting on some of our work, and also looking at some of the feedback we've gotten from others. But we'll be continuing to gather that information. And I'm confident that what we come up with will be properly vetted, and I think it's going to be something that is, again, very thoughtful. So, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? All right, I can't wait till December.
All right.
All right, what's that?
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah. Thank you. Our next item is baseball infield renovations, Mr. Wood.
Pretty straightforward. I recommend approval of $3,200 for the installation of turf for the baseball infield, if we can still get it in before the weather. All preparations, which are really more costly in terms of the removal of the existing grass, adding new loam, or regrading, will be completed by our own staff and volunteers. So the cost is for the turf and for the professional installation. So we probably cut a $10,000 or $11,000 project down to $3,200. So,
Who's going to be performing the work?
I'm sorry, please.
Who's performing the work? So the installation of the sod?
Facilities will be at this point.
So you guys are doing everything top to bottom?
Except the installation of the new sod. We rather have that done by a professional. That's the quote we have. The $3,200 is for the sod.
It's just for the sod.
Aren't they installing too?
No, that's just for
I
the sod.
stand corrected. It's just for the sod. I thought the people were going to install it. So.
No, that's just for the sod.
It's just for the sod.
It's about
How many
9,000 square feet. 9,000 square.
Are we solid that you don't need anything for the planning board to do this?
No. I don't believe so.
I don't think so either, I just wanted.
I don't follow the question.
Well, we don't need any, this is completely within our, we're saying this is completely within our ambit, right? We don't have to worry about the zoning or planning or anything like that, right?
For the grass for a baseball infield, I don't think so.
Like a building permit.
Oh,
That's what I think he's going
oh,
on.
Yes.
I was totally confused. Permit to install sod, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be silly, I just don't want to have this come back.
And this is coming out of the
The restricted.
restricted,
Yes.
what do we call that line item, Lisa?
Committed, we
Community
restricted
account, yep, thank you, the new community account,
Mhm.
thank you.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation, what's your pleasure?
So we accept it.
So move, Mr. Connell, second.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Bonus, discussion. Hearing none, all those signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next item is 2015 school committee meeting minutes.
I approve
Motion approved by Mr. Pichetti.
Second.
Second, Mr. Marinelli. Done.
See you Tuesday.
Done. Any discussion? Any
These look
objection?
great.
Yeah, they fit in my schedule, right? All right, and that's obviously based on the superintendent's recommendation as well, but, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item is second reading of revised policies. Mr. Lindberg, you wanna?
Second reading, as you said, 2B3 audits as suggested by the B&E. Mrs. Marcotte has recommended changes to the policy. Based upon her recommendations, I recommend committee vote to approve the first reading. I'm sorry, second?
Yep, please.
Second reading, as submitted, my
All
apologies.
seconds. That's me, bro.
And I'll second.
Yeah, all set.
Same, or you want to take them one at a time, Mr. Chair?
No, we
Okay.
can do them all.
Grading and attendance, truancy, and homeschooling.
Okay. Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent to approve second readings of the revised policy audits, grading, and attendance, truancy, and homeschooling. All those, motion to that effect?
So moved.
So move, Mr. Bonus, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Pichetti, discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next item is procedures to school committee policies regarding revised budget development guidance associated with school committee policy financial management and contracts associated with school committee policy procurement.
Informational purposes only, no vote is necessary. However, we want you to be aware that we've worked at tweaking these, and the last in a line of things that we wanted to get done was B. So
Okay.
we have those in front of you, so.
Okay. Next item is acceptance donations. Mr. Lindberg?
Mr. Chair, I recommend the committee vote to accept the donations as submitted in accordance with Rhode Island General Law 1689-4, grants, gifts, and donations, acceptance and expenditure, school supplies to NSES from Avery Products Corporation, Mrs. Cheryl Connolly, and Pink Out and Stars model banners to NSES from National Market Corporation, Mr. Michael Black.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. What's your pleasure?
Chair, I move that we accept the donations as suggested for both Avery products, Connolly, and also Pink Out and Star banners for National Market Corp, and that we send thank you letters
Absolutely.
to the donors.
Okay. Is there, you have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Pichetti, Mr. Marinelli, discussion. And we'll, sorry, we'll send, I thought it was the camera. No. We'll send thank you letters to both these individuals. Thank you. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item is a motion to recess open session.
So moved.
Second. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. And we will be going into closed session at this point.